I'm Reverend Therese, and I'm glad to be here again. Yay! So we could say that today is about honoring life on earth, couldn't we? So I'm going to go there. For some of us, today's kind of like, really? What's there to celebrate? Yeah? And then for others, it's like, woohoo! Everything's great. And so if we can even just take what the song said, who in here has never, ever, ever in your whole life been nice? So then guess what? You're all mothers. Even the guys. Because in us, we have the balance between male and female. We understand that in unity we look underneath, we look metaphysically. What does it all mean? And so if God is great, and there is not a male or a female God, then that means we're everything, aren't we? So if you've ever planted a garden, picked up a piece of paper, smiled at someone, then you have been nurturing or loving. And metaphysically, those attributes are contributed to the divine feminine within us. Is everybody breathing? Because it's different, isn't it? I was talking with Reverend Rose yesterday, and there's been a big influx on all of the clergy websites, so to speak, about how not to offend someone when they come to your Mother's Day service. Because it's not always joyful, is it? And yet, what I hope you leave with today is the fact that you are here on earth, and that's the reason to be joyful for today. Yes? So you've nurtured, or you've been nurtured, yes. You've loved or been loved. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we've blessed this morning as we said our morning prayers, and we thought of it. As I saw the sunrise, I thought, oh, Mother Earth, showing us that light yet again turns when we open our eyes to see it. And the Daily Word, of course, we knew they were going to write about Mother's Day today, but that they are so with us, I guess, as Reverend Rose and I read it this morning, that we celebrate the biological, the adoptive, the foster, the godmothers, all the different ways that we show up. In my life, my father was my mother. I had a mother, but my father was the one from whom, well, I believe I learned how to nurture. Other people have questioned that. Did you have a mother growing up? I'm like, why are you asking? Because you don't act like it. Oh, okay. And then I say, oh, am I a mirror for you? Right? Because we get to do that in unity, don't we? So it's about being a mom, it's about being a grandma, an aunt, a stepmom, a mother-in-law, a sister, a foster mom, a godmother. I'm a fairy godmother, so that's really special. And I got to be a great fairy godmother on Thursday because I had a fairy goddaughter have a baby. So now I'm a great fairy godmother, although I always thought I was. So today we get to say thank you. You might have sent a present, you might have sent flowers or candy, you might make a phone call, or you may just say it to yourself. Thank you. It may be with a smile, it may not be, but you get to choose. Because remember, children don't come with manuals, right? There's no instruction manual on how to raise a child when you get it, right? And there is no return policy. That's the reality, right? So I'm the fifth child of 11. We'll get into that in a minute. What we all have in common here today is that we were birthed by a woman, right? So we're really all one. We have all of that in common. There was a story about going out and asking children, you know, what do they think about moms, and don't they always come up with such gems? And so one said, well, she's the only one who knows where the Scotch tape is. And there was one who said, well, the reason we have a mom is because she helped us get out of there as we were getting bonded. You know how they always mispronounce words. So let's take a moment and close your eyes. And wherever you are on the mother continuum, I'm going to ask you to go to that place of joy and love. Possibly put your hand on your heart. Because we are blessed that you are here today. I'm going to say it again so you hear me. I am blessed. Reverend Rose is blessed. This community is blessed because you are here today. And so that is why we are grateful for those who gave birth to us, no matter what happened after that. Remember to breathe. Mother Teresa wrote a poem that said, "Do it anyway." And so that's what I invite us all to do today. The first line of her poem reads, "People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway." And so as you open your eyes, that's what I invite you to do today, to be in a sense of gratitude because we are blessed by your presence. And then, as you go through the day, think about all those other people who blessed you. It might have been a neighbor. I had a Mrs. Malinowski who made the best Polish pierogies in the world. And then I had grandparents, right, and plenty of brothers and sisters, not so many aunts and uncles. But you can review your life today and figure out who in your life touched you, who nurtured you. How did you learn to be so loving and kind today? Who showed you how to do that? That's the person that you celebrate today. I believe, and I think most of us in Unity believe, that our souls pick our parents and our family before we get here in this incarnation. Breathe. Really? I chose all this? Probably not cognitively, right? But we are souls and we have bodies. And so if our soul chose for us the life that we've lived thus far, then we get to be thankful for it, right? And we breathe a lot. We get to breathe a lot. Now, my soul has chosen many interesting paths. Interesting people, interesting situations. But what we know in Unity is that everything happens for a reason, and the reason is to support us. That takes a shift, careful how you hear that, a shift in your mind to understand that everything is a gift. What we know is that life pushes us, doesn't it? It pushes us into situations, and when we believe and we know, then Spirit is pulling us through those situations. So have you been in some situations that life pushed you in that were, you didn't really think that you'd want to be there? Anybody? Yeah? Not yet this morning, I hope. And so what we know is that as life pushes us and Spirit is pulling us, then what grows is our soul strength. Remember, that's what we're here. We are souls in a physical body having a human experience. Has everybody had lots of human experiences? Yeah. And you know what we get to do with those human experiences? We get to, if we choose, get a really cool color pen that you like and rewrite the ending of how that story may still end. Because as long as we're still breathing, we get to write the endings of how we want them to be. Pretty cool. So I have purple pens, I have teal, of course pink. Sorry, Kayla, I like pink. So we get to choose the color of the ink from which we will choose then to write our ending. And I do that this year as my soul's journey, thanks to Reverend Rose and a few other people who are supporting me to figure out who am I, what have I come here to be, and how am I going to show up serving God. This is one way. And there's many other ways. And so I'm doing this tremendous soul work, and it's amazing. So I told you that I was the 5th child of 11. Well, I was the 5th child of 7 that were birthed by my mother. She died when I was 11. I would love that there could be a conversation today with her face to face, and so I have them otherwise with just chairs, you know. But I was not one that she bonded with. Now, we can make up all sorts of stories. I've made up really great ones. But what I know is that the situations in her life at that time did not support Therese as a baby. Was it because she was sick? She was. She eventually died of lupus. And back then they didn't know what that was. Was it because she drank? I don't know. Was it because she believed in her religion so religiously that she continued to have children after she was diagnosed with being sick? We can create all of the whys. I've done that, every single scenario. And at 56 and a half, I intellectually and emotionally get why some choices had to be made. Doesn't mean you like them, right? You don't always like that. But what I know and what I'm here to say is I am the best Therese Ann Marie Donlin Lee that there can be because of the soul strength that had to be pulled out of me as I went through each and every situation in life. Some that I caused myself, right? Don't we continue on with the drama because it feels good? So today you don't have to do that anymore. You say thank you, and I'm going to be different. And I'm going to celebrate all that I am. And I can do that now with my stepmother, who I got when I was 13, who for whatever reason, the story that I wrote was going to continue what my real mom did. I don't know why that all happened. It doesn't matter because you know what? It was yesterday. So yesterday. And so today we sit and we go, what did I learn from both of those people? Wow, I wouldn't have exchanged places with either of them now, with the hindsight. And so how do we get to know? In unity, we get to. That's the phrase. We get to choose. We get to go to work. We get to eat. We get to decide. That's the catchphrase in unity. We get to, or I get to. How many of you say that? I get to go to work today. I bet tomorrow you'll think about it. But we get to decide the attitude, right? And so attitudes are contagious. The question is yours worth catching? Or do you want to switch and shift a little bit so that it is contagious? And everybody thinks, yeah, I want some of that. How many of us have learned about what it looks like to be nurtured as we watch a mother nurture a child? I've done that with my sisters as they nurture their children. I didn't have any biologically by choice. And I watch my friends raise their children. I think, oh, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And so we get to choose how we're going to show up and decide that because our mom birthed us, that we're going to be grateful. There's a story about a Buddha that talks about the yin and the yang, you know, that symbol that's half white and half black. And then in there sometimes you'll see in the black there'll be a white dot, and in the black there'll be in a black there'll be a white dot, and in the white there'll be a black dot. And that's about the balance of us. I'm a really good ball player. Well, that wasn't because I was a girly girl. It was because I brought forth the strength within me, muscle bound that I am, to be able to play really good ball. But I still like to wear nail polish. So you get to balance, right? I saw something yesterday on Facebook that said, girls aren't tomboys, they're just girls who like to play sports. So we get to stop labeling, don't we? We get to stop labeling. So this Buddha story is about this macho guy comes up and says to Buddha, I'm a ferocious bandit, the mightiest in the world, and I'm going to kill you because I'm going to show how great I am. And the Buddha says, imagine in a calm voice, well, then surely you can grant me 2 wishes first, if you're that mighty. And the bandit says, well, of course, because I am that mighty. And he says, okay, so what I want you to do, Mr. Bandit, is to go over to this tree here, this sapling, and cut off the smallest branch. And the bandit laughs like, no problem. Whips out his sword and cuts the switch and brings it over and gives it to the Buddha. And then he says, and what's your final wish? Kind of impatient, like, come on, get along with it, guy. I got to get to you because I got to get on with my world. And the Buddha bends over and picks up the small severed branch. And he hands it back to the bandit and says, now put it back. The legend has it in that moment that the bandit achieved enlightenment because he understood the true meaning of love is to create life and not to destroy it. We'll be mindful, won't we, today and the rest of this week as we go about being motherly to ourselves. Are we kind to ourselves? What's the voice that you talk to yourself with? Are you creating love or judgment? Distance or closeness? We get to choose, don't we? We get to choose. And because we're such animal lovers here in this church, there's a great story, and it was in Iowa, and there was this big sign that says, the dog has kittens for lunch. The townspeople were, God, oh my God, what's happening? What do you mean, the dog's eating the kittens for lunch? What's happening? And so the story goes that the dog had a litter of puppies, and they were all adopted. It was a lab. Lonely, I suspect, after having all these babies, and then boom, they're gone. And all of a sudden, one day, a cat shows up, has a litter, and then something happens to the cat. And the people who owned both the cat and the dog think, I wonder, will Lily be the mom to these kitties? And so they nurture, they take these little kitties and they bring them over to Lily, the mom, who's missing her babies, and says, have lunch, little kitties. And so guess what happens? They get to nurse on the dog. They all live happily ever after. So how often are we asked to maybe step out of our comfort zone, give away things that we are attached to, not knowing that a gift's going to come? And that day, that dog received a gift, and they were 6 more kitties that she could love and nurture, because for whatever reason, that the farm people wanted all the kitties there. Of course, probably to kill the mice and do all those other things that kitty cats do. How much time do you spend each day loving yourself, nurturing yourself, opening your hand for the opportunities to be love expressing? That's what Mother's Day is about, creating love. Let us pray. Living, loving presence, Mother, Father, God. Thank you for today. Thank you for this ability to shift our thoughts to knowing that we are here to create love for ourselves and for others. And let us, as we come out of this prayer, enjoy love in a way that is humorous and that will tickle us as we look at the screen and enjoy Mother's Day.
Get up out of bed, wash your face, brush your teeth, comb your sleepy head. Here's your clothes and your shoes, hear the words I said. Get up now, get up and make your bed. Are you hot, are you cold, are you wearing that? Where's your books and your lunch and your homework at? Grab your coat and your gloves and your scarf and hat. Don't forget, you gotta feed the cat, eat your breakfast. The experts tell us it's the most important meal of all. Take your vitamins so you will grow up one day to be big and tall. Just remember the orthodontist will be seeing you at 3 today. Don't forget your piano lesson is this afternoon, so you must play, don't shovel, choose slowly. early, but hurry, the bus is here. Be careful, come back here. Did you wash behind your ears? Play outside, don't play rough. Would you just play fair? Be polite, make a friend, don't forget to share. Work it out, wait your turn, never take a dare. Get along, don't make me come down there. Clean your room, fold your clothes, put your stuff away. Make your bed, do it now. Do we have all day? Were you born in a barn? Would you like some hay? Can you even hear a word I say? Answer the phone, get off the phone. Don't sit so close, turn it down. No texting at the table. No more computer time tonight. Your iPod's my iPod if you don't listen up. Where you going and with whom and what time do you think you're coming home? Saying thank you, please, excuse me makes you welcome everywhere you roam. You'll appreciate my wisdom someday when you're older and you're grown. Can't wait till you have a couple little children of your own. You'll thank me for the counsel I gave you so willingly, but right now I thank you not to roll your eyes at me. Close your mouth when you chew, we'd appreciate. Take a bite, maybe two of the stuff you hate. Use your fork, do not burp, or I'll set you straight. Eat the food I put up on your plate. Get an A, get a door, don't get smart with me. Get a grip, get in here on count 2, 3. Get a job, get a life, get a PhD, get a go. So I don't care if you started, you're grounded until you're 36. Get your story straight and tell the truth for once, for heaven's sake. And if all your friends jumped off a cliff, would you jump too? If I've said it once, I've said at least 1,000 times before that you're too old to act this way. It must be your father's DNA. Look at me when I am talking, stand up straighter when you walk a place for everything, and everything must be in place. Stop crying or I'll give you something real to cry about. Oh! Brush your teeth, wash your face, get your PJs on, get in bed, get a hug, say a prayer with Mom. Don't forget, I love you. And tomorrow we will do this all again because the moms work never ends. You don't need the reason why. Because I said so, I said so, I said so, I said so. I'm the mom, the mom, the mom, the mom, the mom. Ta-da!
So have you heard that line before? Because I am the mom. And so think about it. How are you mothering yourself in each moment? Because that's what we get to do in Unity. We get to. Thank you so much.